Hi, everybody. It's the Me and My Boyfriend Nicole podcast. I'm Aurora.
And I'm the boyfriend, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi.
Long time no record. It
Whatever.
feels like it's been like a month. It's really only been like a week.
Maybe 2 weeks.
Has it?
Maybe. Yeah. But not to the people.
No.
They just got an episode last week.
That's right.
Right. So we're back again.
Pulling behind the curtain.
Right? And today's story, boys and girls,
Oh.
is a love story. True love.
That's beautiful.
Right? Wow.
Who's this love story about?
Me.
Aww.
Right? So I was thinking, right? We all know how I have been on the hunt, the search, the expedition for the love of my life, right? And it hit me when I was at work today.
What were you doing at work today when this hit you?
Yeah, I was taking out the trash, literally, and cleaning up outside. And
That's when we have our best moments.
I'm telling you, as I'm sweeping up trash and stuff, I was thinking, and I was like, given my story thus far, I am so proud of myself and so shocked, if you looked from the outside looking in, my capacity to love. Like, really, just everything I've been through in my life. Like, you know me. My heart is so open, and I love so hard and so big, and I have so much hope in me, and for the world to be a better place. I feel like it is becoming a better place for my children, for you, for all the people in my life, and strangers. Like, I love big, right? And it just hit me, like, if you did the math on my life, it really doesn't add up to love. There's plenty of people that would have been in my situations and may have been a little more resentful or, downhearted, right? Or felt the need to give up at some point. But not me. No. Thank goodness I'm a Leo.
Oh, that's the most Leo shit I've ever heard. I would just like
We
to say...
overcome, right? We believe. We have hope. Yes. And we're amazing lovers. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So, we've touched on a lot of things in my life, right? A lot of things in your life too. And I can't wait to hear your love story. And for me, as she covers up her head, don't worry, it's a Leo moment. It's all about me right now. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
But
gotcha.
I've talked about how I grew up in, the first word that popped in my head was devastation, but in true abuse. Like, I just grew up in a very, very rough household, rough neighborhoods. Like, it was rough. It's like everything you can possibly think of as horrible things that could happen to a child. That was my life, before I was even born, trying to survive, like, just everything. My mother had German measles when she was pregnant with me in Italy. And at the time, babies were being born with all types of disabilities, from heart problems and vision problems to hearing problems to missing limbs, like all kinds of things, depending on when you were sick during your pregnancy.
Oh, wow. Right?
And so at that time, I'm aging myself. We all know I'm 46 for a little while longer. Yes, it is the month of Leo right now.
Oh, anyway. Lord, it's Leo season.
But it was before Roe versus Wade.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right? And
did you meet Jesus?
I love you. Bitch. No, but we've had a lot of talks. But so they wanted my mother to have an abortion with me, right? And they actually put her before like a panel of doctors, basically her case, and all but one voted for her to have an abortion.
Damn.
But she said no. She was 20. She was like, if something's wrong, I'm gonna have it. And we'll just see what happens, you know? Thank goodness. Well, her friend, who'd been trying to have a baby forever, got pregnant too, and they both had German measles. She opted to have an abortion. And then when I was born, there was nothing wrong with me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, she had like a mental break, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like before I was even born, I was fighting to live.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not a critique on anyone else. You know? I'm just saying, talk about my life, you know? But then, my father was extremely abusive, you know? My mother was bipolar and very checked out.
Yeah.
And then later she had a drug addiction and my father took off and just tons of things, right? I moved 30 times before I graduated high school.
Jesus.
And, you know, I used to always tell people it's because my dad was in the military, then he got out and he had another job where the only way you could move up is if someone died or retired, and so we moved around a lot, which was true. But the other 75% of it was because my mother was always leaving and then going back.
Right.
Like 7th grade, I went to 4 different schools. Yeah. Let me tell you, that's a bitch, because that's when they were teaching about decimals and fractions.
Oh, so that's why it's all little,
Right? And every time I moved, they either were just getting ready to do that or had already done it. And so I literally have never learned how to do that. It's like the one thing that is so hard and difficult for me.
You know, we're going to do a podcast about learning decimals and fractions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And
just
then,
for you, boo.
You're so sweet. And, you know, maybe someday we'll get into the depths of that. And then, as life would have it, I was never allowed to date, like in high school and stuff. And so when I went to college, the first person I dated, I ended up marrying, right? And it was desperately that I wanted a family. I wanted a family I never had. And so 2 months after I got married at 18, I got pregnant with my first son and had him at 19. That was an extremely abusive relationship. I literally left with the clothes on my back and my baby. And when I was pregnant with my son, he came home drunk one night, and you know, I was like 19, and he had hickeys on him, and I just asked where he had been, and he knocked me to the ground and started kicking me in my stomach. Yeah, and so I started bleeding really bad. I was like 5.5 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like my placenta started to detach kind of thing. So I had to be on bed rest. And yeah, that wasn't enough for me to leave. No.
Were you still in college at the time?
No, I had dropped out.
Okay.
But I went back. I got my degree, but it took a long time.
Yeah. Were you working?
No, he wouldn't let me work.
Oh, well, that's part of the control.
Yeah. And so after I had my son, you will know why this is funny. He went to Korea for a year.
Okay.
In the military, and that's when I really started to find myself again and get back on my feet and everything. Yeah. And then he came back, and the abuse started again. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to have my child in this. Like, I don't want him to think this is what love looks like, or a family, or anything else. And so...
Was he gone for when Hunter was born?
No, he was there.
Okay.
However, he wasn't there. He dropped me off at the hospital and left. And I was in the hospital for 3 days. I had to have emergency C-section.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, like, I almost
Did he come and check on you?
No. My grandmother came. By the way, I love my mother. However, I literally crawled to a payphone when he beat me up when I was pregnant and called my mom asking her for help. And she said to me, "You made your bed, you can lie in it," and hung up the phone.
What? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was my childhood. So.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. So, needless to say, yeah. And then later, after I got out of that, like, it was horrible, like, going through a divorce and everything. It took me over a year to get divorced. And he would slash my tires. He would call my work and tell him that something had happened to the baby, act like he's somebody else so they could get me on the phone. Yeah, and then start threatening me. He'd park across the street from my work and, like, follow me. Like, it was just horrible. And then during the divorce, I had to give him Hunter for visitation, and he kidnapped him. And the sheriff's department and everything said there was nothing they could do because legally we were both parents, and there was any paperwork saying that he didn't have custody.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, this whole thing I went
Man,
through.
things are so different now because now parents can kidnap their own children.
Yeah.
It sounds so fucked up when you say it. You're like, yeah, I kidnapped my own child, but it's like, no. Yeah.
I mean, it was just horrible. He, on one visit, where they said if I did not give him, my son, that they would put me in jail, and that him abusing me had nothing to do with him as a parent, like what he would do to him. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I went.
Mind you, this was in Kentucky, y'all.
Well, no, we were getting divorced in Tennessee.
Oh.
However, he was living in Oak Grove, Kentucky, which where we live at, it's right on the border. And so, so they said anything that happened there, which he was staying with like friends and stuff, didn't even have a job, nothing. That was him. He got kicked out of the military.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't hear anything that happened. This was back in the 90s, though. It's not like that now, but it was, I'm sure there are places it still is like that, though. But so I go to pick up my son, and he's like a year and a half old, under 2. And he tells me I have to come in because he doesn't have his stuff ready. And I have to get my child,
Yeah.
And so I go in, and he, like, punches me right in the face and knocks me out, like, and there's blood everywhere, and Hunter's screaming, and I just go into survivor mode, basically, because, I mean, I grew up that way, you know? It's like, it was natural to me at that time, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, we can talk, can you just get me, like, a rag or something? I don't want to make a mess, and when he did, as soon as he went to go get a rag, like, from the bathroom, I grabbed Hunter and just, like, ran out the door and jumped in the car, and locked the doors and had, like, Hunter in my lap, and I'm just trying to get out of there, and he picked up bricks that were laying out there and started throwing them at my windshield, and, like, busted it, and I drove straight to the police department in Oak Grove. I don't know if we talked about this before.
I feel like we have, but maybe not on the podcast.
And I went in. Now, my face is all beat up, right? My child has blood on him, too. My windshield's busted out, and I'm telling them what happened. And they said to me, well, what'd you do to piss him off? And I'm like, well, we're in the middle of divorce. Well, that pissed me off, too. It was all men in there, right? Nothing against men. I love men. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying you got to get the mindset.
Yeah.
And there is a punchline. You'll hear it. And I'm like, well, he beat me up. That's illegal, And they're like, well, you're lucky you're alive. I mean, you should count your blessings. They wouldn't do anything.
Oh, thanks. Big ups.
Right?
To the man upstairs.
Yeah. So I had a friend of mine take pictures, right? She took pictures of me and stuff. I'm like, just in case, you never know what'll happen, And then I had to go to the hospital. And then the next day I went to Hopkinsville. You had to go to Christian County, to the DA's office at that time, to file charges, right? And the district attorney told me it wasn't worth their time because at the most he would get 6 months probation.
Wow.
And I'm like, but he did this. Like, I have a voice. Like, I want to do something now. I was with him for several years and never did anything, and I want to do something now. And they're like, well, yeah, he doesn't have any record, though. And I'm like, that's what I'm
starting the record now. Thank you.
And so I forced him to do it, and he did get 6 months probation, However, when he was with the next woman, and she had a child, he had a record. And her attorney contacted me and was asking if I would testify and stuff because the same things were happening to her.
Yeah.
And they weren't married. She was trying to get custody of her daughter. I was like, absolutely. And then they called me saying that I didn't need it. Just that alone was enough, And so, help the next person. But things I would hope have changed since then. But that's just one example.
Yeah.
And then I was married again. Things did not work out. I'm not really going to get into that. That's my children's father. They do have something to do with, and he's, a very good dad.
Just because y'all's marriage didn't work out doesn't mean he's not a good father.
Right? It doesn't. And then we all know what happened in the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where, dun, 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 like, oh, hell broke loose. If you don't know, go back a few episodes. It's in there, trust me. But in between that, I had more trauma, more things happen. Like, dating as a woman, you know, it's so scary out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anything can happen to you. And between my second husband and my third husband, I dated. And it was like a friend of a friend of a friend that I had met.
Mm-hmm.
And
because that's how you did it back in the day.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Before online, honey, back during dial-up internet, okay? Like, it was just somebody, like, you know, one of my friends from work, whatever, she, you know, knew somebody and
they knew somebody, and
and so it's someone we knew,
yeah.
you know? I hadn't met him before, but then I met him a couple of times, and so we went out on a date, right? And everything seemed fine at first, but then it wasn't, and I was 26 at the time. It was 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he was like, it was our first date, and normally I would never do this, but it was somebody that
had
like
been vetted, kind of,
right?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you know, I got off late from work, and I had to take my son to the sitter. He was a dad, too, you know, another single parent. And it was like, hey, can you meet me at my house, and we'll go out to dinner from there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know? And so I came over, and I'll never forget, he had a Pepsi, and he was like, do you want a soda or something? I was like, sure. And so he poured it into glasses for us, you know? And I was sitting in the living room, like, looking at a magazine or something. And he brought it in there, and he was like, where do you want to go? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I thought we'd do this. And I was drinking it. And the next thing I know, I felt really tired. And then I got a really bad headache. And then it was like, I couldn't move my arms. And I couldn't, like, move my, like, I couldn't speak and everything else.
Was it like a slow process? Or was it like all of a sudden?
It was just all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Okay. I'm only asking for people that may need to know what that feels like.
Right, and I don't do drugs.
Right.
I didn't barely drink. Like, I had no idea. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, first I felt like I was sick, and then it was just like...
all of a sudden. Yeah.
And then he raped me. It was, you know, they call it date rape, which I don't know if that's a nice way to say it, but basically that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a nice way to say it at all,
And the only thing I remember, like, I remember everything, but I remember I was crying and just begging him to wear a condom, you know? And then I, like, kind of came out of it kind of thing. And he was like, so it was a really nice date. Like, thanks a lot. And again, I go into survivor mode, you know? And I'm just like, okay. And just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, as soon as you can.
As soon as I could. And I'm just like, just get to the car. And then I just got to get home and, like, just...
deal with it there.
Yeah. I just need to get home.
Yeah.
And, like, you just can't wash it off. Like, it's so bad. You know? And I remember calling one of my friends, my girlfriend at the time, Diana, and talking to her about all of it. And she came over and stuff. And I don't think people understand. Like, you know, everybody's like, well, did you file charges, whatever? Let's remember the last time I went.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you start to do this self thing where it's like, what did I have to do with this? Like, how is this my fault?
Right.
That I trusted someone, you know? And that I drank a Pepsi Cola, you know? Like...
yeah, I mean, you weren't even drinking alcohol.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
You know? But then the blaming yourself. And, like, if I go to, you know, the hospital, if I say something like, what's going to happen to me?
Are they going to believe me too? Like,
Yeah, and trying to, you know, I just wanted it to go away. You know? And so then I didn't date for a long time. And then when I did date, I started dating women.
Right.
You know? Which I am attracted to women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that...
No, but I was like, I just couldn't.
Yeah, of course.
Know? And then I met my third husband. And at the time I was only dating women, you know. And he was very like sweet and patient and kind with me and didn't try and force anything. And,
he loved you through it.
Yes. He healed me a lot through that. That's one of the things I'll always be grateful for him too, is because like anytime we started to get intimate, like just kissing and like anytime we went past that, like I would just shut down.
Yeah.
And he would sense it. And I had a rocking chair in my room, and he would sit in the rocking chair and have me sit in his lap and just like rock me and just tell me everything's okay. And like he really helped me through that. And then just slowly, you know, doing things and everything else to where I felt comfortable in my own body again and like being intimate again. And I will always be thankful for him, you know, being that way with me, because everybody knows I love sex now. Not that I've had sex in so long, dude. It's been like over 6 months. Like,
but that's a personal choice.
Right? I do a lot of self-love. But I've always said I'm not going to let my past dictate my future. And I'm not going to let anyone that hurt me take love away from me. Yeah. Love for myself, love for anyone else, and love for my future, you know? And I'm like, I am going to have a great love in my life. And I'm not going to let some asshole
ruin it.
Yes, some horrible person take that away from me. And I will heal myself and I will love so that I can be ready for him, because it's going to be fucking awesome and I deserve it. And this is where I say, yes, there's a lot of things I have survived and there are things I have overcome and everything else, but it is a love story. Like my life is a love story. I feel like everyone's life is a love story. I feel like our purpose on this planet is to love big, to love hard. Like no matter what happens, you keep on loving. And if I hadn't been through so much in my life, it's like when I find that person, I'm not going to be able to truly appreciate it like I will now, because I have been through all that. Yeah. And it's like, I can truly tell the difference between good and bad and real and not real, and the depths of love. And to be so thankful and grateful for the person that is right for me, for the person that's meant to be for me, for the person that loves every single thing about me. My silliness, my quirkiness, my bad singing, my even worse dancing, you know, like our pajama parties, you, my kids, like someone that just loves everything about me. How amazing that's going to feel, and how that is going to happen for me and to me, and how I deserve that. And it's a love story. Yeah. You know, and how we tell ourselves things, good and bad, you know, but how we define ourselves is really how we see the world too, you know. And I choose to see all the positive and amazing things in myself and everyone else, and that the capacity for love that you hold for yourself and for everyone else is your way to get through everything, and also a way to truly enjoy life. You know, like I could have given up at any point, but what would that have done for my children? What would that have done for me? You know, if I had given up, I wouldn't have my youngest son. Yeah. You know, and who knows what else will happen in my life. And I'm like, I'm ready. I've been through all this shit in my life and great times. I've had great times too. Like, you know, but I'm very excited about the next chapter and what it has to bring. And I share all this to say, we've all been through trauma. We've all been through things that we wish wouldn't have happened or we could take back, you know? And I wish I could kiss everybody's boo-boos and make it better. But I just want you to know you're not alone. Yeah. Like, I share this because you're not alone. Whatever has happened to you, someone else has been through that too. And it doesn't take anything away from you, but you're not alone. Don't ever give up. Don't let anyone steal your happiness, your joy, you know, your love. Like, you deserve love. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You deserve all the best in life. All you gotta do is keep getting up every morning and just love the life you have. And as Aurora says, you can restart your day anytime.
Somebody else said that. I just stole that quote.
All right. You can restart your life anytime. You can make it a new chapter anytime you want. You know? And love heals all. It really does.
Love wins. It's from the musical Rent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go.
Anything you'd like to share?
No, it makes me think of this quote that I heard from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Of course. Bring it, Ru.
Yeah, no, so this drag queen, Kylie Sonique Love, she said something to another drag queen, Raja O'Hara, that has really been overplaying in my mind a lot recently, especially thinking about my previous job, is don't let the scared and hurt child inside of you make your adult decisions.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So that's just been like...
Oh, that hurt me deep.
Like, I've been hearing it on replay.
Mm-hmm.
And that really makes me think of that, of how you easily could have just, like a scared child, like, I'm not going to let anybody get close to me, or kind of just live your life in survival mode.
Yeah.
You know?
That's where I say my children are one of the greatest blessings in my life. One of the things I'm most proud of, everything else, because having them, and especially having my older ones young, it's like I got to relive the childhood I always wanted with them.
Yeah.
You know? And we can have ice cream and waffles for breakfast. We can play laser tag in the house. Like,
yeah.
We had unbirthday parties from Alice in Wonderland. You know, like all kinds of things, you know? We had a tent in the living room, which we do it again with Frankie. But, you know, I'm like clubhouse, like everything. But also, I never could give up. I never could stop because I had them. And I was determined to stop all the cycles of abuse that has happened in my family, you know, and the addictions and all of that. Like, they're not going to be a part of that, you know? And I'm so thankful to have them because they healed me. They made me better. They made me stronger. They made me see love in such a new way. And they're amazing. They're pretty freaking awesome. You've met them.
Oh, yeah, I like them.
Right? They're my jolly green giants. All three of them are
I know,
6
they're all
foot tall or more. Yeah, and they're just the sweetest young men ever. And I look at them.
And she's not saying that as a biased mom. They actually are.
They are, right? And I'm like, Hunter, Christian, and Nikki, I love them so much. But it's just like, this is my gift to the world. It really is. Like, when they were growing up, I would never, ever, ever allow any of my friends or relatives or family to ever in my home say anything negative about men. You know, because I think so often you have a fight with your man, or you know, had a crappy boyfriend, or, you know, whatever. And it's just automatically you go to the men are assholes.
Men ain't shit. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. That was never allowed in my house because I am raising men. Good men. And we are never, ever going to put men down.
Right.
You know? Whatever happened in your situation happened with you and that person. And I'm not taking that away. But we are not going to make a general statement and say that men are bad.
Right.
Men are a gift. They're wonderful people. They're incredible fathers, loving husbands, you know, sweet sons. Like, they're good and we need them. And I am so proud of the men that I have raised and who they are. And that also helped to heal me because I'm like, if they're in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
There has to be other men like this.
Well, and you're part of shaping someone that would never treat you the way, like would never treat another woman the way that you were treated.
Absolutely not.
So
never.
It's almost like you're putting good karma into the world.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And Trinity and Sarah, you're welcome. That's my boys, women's. Nikki, can't wait to see who you get with.
We have theories.
We have theories. We do.
We're not going to share the theories.
Right. In 10 years, we'll see where we're at. But
we'll see who was right.
Yes. But I love my boys, and I love my life, and I love you, and I'm just so excited about where this love story is going to take me. So,
possibilities.
We are open to all the possibilities. Bring it on.
Let's go, beach.
Yes. So what's your love story? What, is happening in your life? Not literally you, but I mean,
you're asking the audience
but
that.
The audience, I'm like, don't let anyone steal your joy, man. Like, love hard, love big. And if it falls, Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dust yourself off, get back up, and do it again.
Get on Bumble.
Because Lord knows, after a troll or two, I'll get right back on. You know.
Not even after a troll. During a troll shit.
But I will say, yeah, go back and listen to another episode. I think that's 39.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
I will say, Hinge has been doing me right. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, Hinge is good. You should check it out, people. Yeah. Aurora's the one who got me to try Hinge.
Mm-hmm. She talked the most shit about it too. And then now she's like, oh, I like Hinge. And I'm like, all right, bitch.
But yeah, so that's it. That's my story. That's part of my story.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Yep.
And it's happily ever after already. So.
Amen, sister.
Right? We shall see.
All right. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Leave us a comment down below. Share with your friends.
Right? Share your love story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And love yourself.
Love yourself.
Tonight.
All right, we're done.
Okay. Peace out.
Bye.